Hi players, I wanted to show you this crazy insane Black Flame, Trampletoe, Palom Dreamers, Ice Nova that basically use Ember Fusilade for mapping and Pinnacle Boss and Fireballs with Fire Infusion for clear mapping, and in some moment I use also Ice Nova, which is super strong I think and looks insane. This was a very hard build for me since my 2000 hours in Path of Exile 2. I never played with a mage. I mean, I did once in Dawn of the Hunt, but I didn't like it at all, honestly. So to make this build works for me, I tried many different setups, and you need some items that are not optional, such as the Undying Hate Timeless Jewels with Tribute to Tech Rod, and Ratfit Glove, Sacred Focus, and Dwelling Wand with Skill Spell Slinger. That's because basically use Ember Fusilade and Fireball, but to make Fireball insane you need to fast create the new mechanic. You need to use the new mechanic of Abyssal League, such as the Infusion, and in this case the Fire Infusion. You use a Spell Slinger with Snap or Living Bomb inside. Better Snap I think, because it's more fast in endgame situation. It's kind of automatically create the Fire Infusion. But to make your Fireball extremely powerful and huge from the basic Fireball. And it's really important to know, because I didn't know, and I thought my Snap skill on Spellslinger did not always work. To create Fire Infusion with a skill, the monster need to be ignited. So if they are not ignited and you use Snap, won't works basically. So this is very important to know. But more you go to the end game and your character becomes stronger, you will ignite all the maps. So you will get a lot of Fire Infusion automatically when you snap. This is also this is all basically, more or less. So to make this to make it works, one of the setup I was trying was to increase as much as possible my armor, but even with my armor at 80%, which is crazy cool and high, my DPS went drastically down, because of course I use a different armor than Calm Heart. Because this build works basically with life, Bloodmage works with life. So if you use life to cast and then use Fit Focus to increase the mage, which is the only way to increase DPS for Bloodmage, you need to use Calm Armor that gives you plus 1500 life. Then I could not couple my resistance. I mean, yes, but I wanted, since I'm using the Veil of Night helmet to increase life, to have more 50% more life, and so you have more life and you have much more DPS, but it gives you no resistance. So I said, okay, let's focus also in area of effect, since I'm using also Trampletoe. So I use my Belt Darkness and Tronet with helmet socket to increase more area of effect, and I tried also to increase the area of effect with Azumite helmet, but it not dodging and run for me was a no for me. Like, was a big deal not to run and dodge, it's no. And then I also use all the nodes in the passive skill tree to have more area effect. I will show you in the end of the video. So this build is quite complicated to understand, at least for me at first, because Bloodmage use life to sustain skills, so it was a new thing for me. And before, to add the Trampletoe and use other unique like Veil of the Night wasn't really fun, or at least you get habitudes. You need to get the habitudes to constantly cast a skill to get a super high life regen, and I mean constantly, always. You get super high fast life regeneration with the Undying Hate Jewels with Tech Rod, and the Keystone passive in the passive tree called Blood Magic, that delete your mana and you can cast skills with the cost of your life. More you cast, more you lose life, more the regen gets fast, till it gets crazy super fast. I was about to drop this build in the garbage, then Vicarina I advise you to follow this guy. He's a master of craft in POE. If you follow his lives, you really will understand the crafting system perfectly, and which I thank him. He helped me to make this build works better and to have more fun with it. Now I basically can stop to play with it. So this build is kind of crazy and I love it because it's not a usual black flame build, but it's a mix of many cool things that works together. It's not the most important build and it can be made much more better for sure, but for now, with all the items I hardly collected and wait for the trade to sell most of my item that dropped for me, this was the result. It's my third character in this league after my level 97 monk with 20 million DPS reach and my beloved mercenary. I always start with mercenary because it's the build I know better, so I can do fast currency, and it's important to be fast to make a lot of currency after. So I did this build and I was prepared to use Palom Dreamers. I was organized when I started this mage because I said, okay, I have many items that I need. I can take it from my monk or my mercenary, heavy belt, headhunter heavy belt or Astra Mantis or whatever. But I was excited to use the Palom Dreamers. And everything was going fine till I reached level 85. I put my Palmo Dreamers to see the delusion in my eyes because I didn't need the Palmo Dreamers if I wanted to make this build insane. The Palmo Dream was fine, but high level monster and most of all Pinnacle boss or bosses was an endless fight. You know, it's too long. So I changed for the Ratfit Globe Sacred Focus, but I was deluded. So I made a setup, used them both, the Sacred Focus and the Palm of Dreamers, with two setup of weapon, and I replicate basically the Fireball in the Bind skill setup to be used in two weapon setups, so I can use it anyway. If I needed, if I wanted, I have it there. I can use the Fireball that is connected to the second weapon setup with Palmo Dreamers, or Fireball on the first setup with Ratfit Sacred Focus. This setup is useful, but I wanted to do it because I did spend a lot of Divine for, and I was very excited for the Palmo Dreamers, so I have it on my build anyway. By the way, it's cool. I will show also this useful bind setup skill at the end of the video. My armor with this crazy setup is not crazy high. I think it's at 22%, but I have enough lives to survive if I'm careful and remember always to cast to have a very high fast regen of life. So most of the hit are not deadly for this build, actually. Of course, this build is crazy fun, but it's still work in progress and can be upgraded even more and more with different setup. So if someone has some advice or better solution, please let me know. I'd love to know. I'm desperately trying to get the Temporalis from Zarok, so I will try different setup with the Bloodmage and Temporalis and Blink and probably different skill that Amber Fusilade and Fireballs. But I hope I will do it very soon, and I will make a video later in time for this. Ciao, thank you for following, thank you for seeing my video. I did spend so much hour on Path of Exile, and I think I'm a player that I play every crazy games. I always made videos about the games. I love to play. I usually finish all the games I love, but I never publish video. So since I really spend much more time in Path of Exile, in my free time, I said, okay, let's make videos and publish and do something, which is crazy hard for me because I work 12 hours a day with my computer in a post-production, movie production and 3D advertisement. So when I come back, I just want to play and relax, and this is kind of stressful. But I wanted to show you Path of Exile, which I love, and probably will do other games, maybe. But for now, I'm completely down for Path of Exile. Thank you guys, and see you soon.
History left its mark. Time to leave mine.
Arbiter.
The fourth edict burns for
Submit.
endless ravaging pain. Your affliction upon her will smooth.
Give up all hope.
Feel the flame control. So sharp.
There are no more lands left for me to conquer.
Lost my
Give up all hope.
shot of flame. burns for you. Your only salvation is written in ash. Mortal soul must we that dream, we in nightmare, we that are one,
Speak.